know I had to run it back one more time. That's how much we miss being on. All right, all right. Listen, hello, everybody on YouTube. We are super, super excited to be back with y'all live again for another round of Talk Tuesday. Listen, y'all give me one little quick second. Let me go ahead and share this on our Facebook page so people can tap in, join us live. Listen, I'm excited to be back. Y'all excited to be back?
Man, like, hey, you don't even know. Like, it's been like a baby without a pacifier. How about that? Like a baby without a pacifier, boy.
Listen, this been rough over here, look. We've been missing Talk Tuesday. Didn't know how to act without Talk Tuesday.
Hey, I'm texting sis like, is we having one today? She like, nah, got
Yo,
some
same.
things to do. I gotta put it off. I'm like, oh man.
Oh my gosh. The post season is like, Miss, when we back again.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie, y'all. I missed it too. I missed us for real. This is just a testament to how powerful it is when we all together in the room. Look, we miss each other. We be excited to come back, and look, we be excited to present to y'all who are watching because it's always some good stuff happening. Always some great topics, and I'm kind of excited about this topic, because I feel like when we talk about things that aren't represented enough. This is one of those things that aren't represented enough. So before I even get started, let me hit y'all with the welcome to Talk Tuesday, y'all, a series that is dedicated to empowering youth and families. This series is brought to you by Steps Foundation, Inc., where advocacy meets education for the betterment of young minds. So I am Abigail Ellis, your host and founder of Steps Foundation, Inc. Welcome, y'all, to Men's Appreciation Month. Yeah.
Say that. Man.
Men's Appreciation Month. Yeah. Okay, listen, I'm excited because, like I said, when we talk about topics that are underrepresented, topics that you don't hear people talk about often, is he a dude, okay, cool, but what about Mother's Day? All right, I know, ladies. I know we be looking for our flowers. We need our flowers too. But our men need their flowers too, y'all. And I'm just so excited to kind of like tap into some of these things. So this month, we're kind of going to shine a spotlight on the vital roles that men play in our lives and in the communities. We're also going to talk about men's support systems, boosting male self-esteem, and of course, like just taking time to honor and celebrate men in all walks of life. So we're excited that you guys are tuning in, and we hope that you get to participate in some of these heartfelt conversations as we're, diving into them. So I'll be checking the comments, y'all. So if you want to leave comments, please do, so that way I can share your comments live. Yes. So that everybody can, hear what you got to say. But let's pay homage to these men. So today's topic, okay? Yes, today's topic is on fatherhood and modern parenting. Mm-hmm. Look at Smitty's face. You know. So for those of you who don't know these wonderful men that sit before us on the panel, I'm going to allow them the opportunity to introduce themselves because they're phenomenal. And look, they are not even like guest speakers, y'all. Like they co-hosts because they with me every Talk Tuesday. So, Smitty, tell them who are you? Where you from? What you do?
Man, I'm bruh. I'm that bruh. Now I was telling somebody that the other day, and she was like, "Really?" So long story.
Literally.
So I got to work on this. And like I said, it's still a little weird. I'm Smith. Man, I do a lot of things, and that's not to pat myself on the back or break my arm. But I got my own nonprofit, bruh. That's just an organic growth of trying to help some younger folks. And that's how this organic interaction came along with me and sis. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to see how we can support each other on different coasts, kind of doing the same thing. But again, man, thankful and grateful for the opportunity. I just launched my new business. Well, two of them. My Most Beautiful LLC, where I provide life coaching, some mentorship, just some guidance, just wherever I can be. Since we're talking about parenting, I got some parenting skills in there. Um, you know, um, I didn't never told I don't know if I ever told y'all, but I got my real estate license. I got my life insurance license. It's a lot of things I got, but they're on the back burner. Um, I just added author to my resume. Just released my first book. I fit the description. I put the link in the chat. Um, and if you get the book and go check it out, it's to start a conversation. It's start a conversation, and I'm glad we are doing what we're doing right now because everything is about me recognizing my blackness as a man and how it intersects with this world, because it's just multi-layered. And I do want to say this: thank you, sis, for having us or giving us a month. It's crazy. I wasn't even thinking about this, but I started it just yesterday. What's today? Tuesday? Yeah, just yesterday. And I'm calling it Love a Black Man Month, hashtag Love a Black Man Month. You can find me on Instagram, you know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at. Because, man, it's just important that we connect the word love with Black man. We're nurturers, we're caring, we're leaders, we're mentors, we are everything valuable, worthy, and great, so I just want to make sure
brother.
I want to make sure that myself and my brothers and my sons and my nephews, son-in-laws, I want to make sure everybody understands that that's what I'm here for. I'm gonna lift us up while we here. I ain't gonna wait. You know what I'm saying? And again, sis, thanks for this opportunity. I've been jonesing. I can't wait to get into it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Listen, y'all, I gotta say it because I love my Smitty. Look, bruh been rocking with me for 3+. Like, we 3 years in, right?
Absolutely. Solid.
That's a long time.
Solid.
3 years in. And I love every minute of it. And just literally, y'all following each other on Instagram. That's how it started. And
that's how it grows.
I'm so appreciative of the connection and so appreciative of the friendship that we've been able to spark over the last 3 years. And just, I appreciate you always showing up and adding that spice to the conversation because we need that spice, and I love how you show up and I love how you show out, not just for us in general, but especially for my young men.
Absolutely.
Because
Thank you,
they
sis.
wholeheartedly need those support systems and they need to hear from other men. And so I'm always appreciative that you show up on this platform, not just to speak to them, but to speak to those dads and to speak to our grandfathers and to speak to our parents. You're speaking to them all. And so I'm grateful for that because somebody has to stand in and do it. And while we like to be woman and hear us roar, we can't do it from that side or from that perspective. And so I appreciate you always showing up and being that person. So thank you for always being here with us. Now, y'all, my boy, my Caesar. Caesar, come on, talk to him, tell him who you is, baby.
Yo, I'm back. We back.
I'm back.
I'm so excited, man. That's what's up. I know I don't look the best right now. I'm kind of a little messy, but I'm here, man. I'm here.
I know that's right. Look, we show up.
Exactly. Well, I'm Caesar. Orsesa. I'm a mentor, artist. I guess poet now. Poet a little bit.
Yes, he's a poet, y'all.
But yeah, I mean it's crazy. I mean, I love Talk Tuesday, everything about it. So I'm glad to be back. I'm glad that we are back. So I'm excited for today's talk. But yeah, I only got nothing to shut out. I mean, I don't really want to shout out anybody right
Well,
now.
tell them how to find you on TikTok. What's the TikTok page?
Well, on TikTok, I haven't been posting, but let me see. On TikTok, it's March 300 art, and that's it.
I'm putting it in the chat so they can find you.
Yeah, but yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm see. Well, I like the merch too, Smitty. You rocking that? That's lit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it. That's me, man.
Come on now. So look, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Look, just like y'all, I'm like, yes, we back. I feel like we should have had like some welcome back thing. Okay, but that's for another day.
Real talk. That's the knock. I love that song. Love that song.
Because that's literally how we came in here feeling. Like we like,
Hey,
yeah, we back.
exactly.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Oh, sorry. Because I'm like, oh, I was trying to finish out season thing on Facebook. Okay, boom, you're there so they can find you. Okay, so listen, y'all ready for the first question? So Caesar don't have to look at me like, Miss, we only got the one question today.
I was about to ask what was the question, but
I got you, Caesar. I got you. All right. So we know that parenting now is not like it was 20 plus years ago. Okay. And so, Caesar, based on things that you've seen, and Smitty, based on things that you've seen, because you parented back when, and now you get to see the young cats parent, how have traditional gender roles in parenting evolved in recent years? And what impact has this had on the role of fathers in modern families? Oh, he took the deep breath, y'all, with the neck roll. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go first, bro.
I'm gonna start. Because if you don't know, you need to check this book out. It's called Nurture Shock. Nurture Shock.
Oh
It's
boy,
by
hold
Cole
up.
Bronson. Nurture Shock. Nurture Shock. I started reading that book probably about 4 months ago, and it shed light on just some of the antiquated parenting tactics or beliefs or traditions, if you will. Um, it's up to you to have an open mind when you read it. But it did open my mind. It did shed some things on how I parented. And a lot of my parenting skills came from my parents, probably then watered down with some external stuff that I've seen other parents do. So um, that's a great question with the gender role in parenting. And I want to say that really quick because as a football coach over the last 20 years or so, a lot of the moms of these young men are single moms. Now, I'm not knocking anything. I just want to point out what I see. And when we talk about the gender role and trying to find that line, if you're a single mom, and I'm only speaking that because that's what I see. You know, we all know, I think we can agree that a child in a two-parent household is best. But sometimes we can't have that because that's just real life. And so that single parent, he or she, is probably going to do the very best that they can from what they know, from their experience, from their introduction to parenting, or maybe they even took a parenting class. With all of that being said, it is difficult, at the least, for a woman to raise a young boy, just as is difficult for a man to raise a young girl, both on their own, because two things are working. Well, one thing is working for both sides. So with the moms that I see, they're trying to be the male figure because the father's not involved. So a lot of the times with those young kids who just coming out to do football, 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old, moms is going super hard on them. I mean, like, you better not cry. You better get out there. The kid don't want to be out there nervous, shaking, scared, snot bubbles. Mom is like, you ain't quitting, you ain't stopping, tough it up. I've had multiple moms come to me and be like, I need you to make them tough. That's not what football's for. Alert, alert. Football's not to make a kid tough. But when that's all, when you think that's what it is, then that's kind of what you do. And so that extra pressure that mom has, not only be the mother, but now she has to be the testosterone influencer guidance, like, you know what I'm saying? None of that crying and all of that. Juxtapose that with a single dad, same thing. Like, you're gonna be hard on your daughter, probably over hard, because that's how I was thinking. You're thinking like a man, and you're not sharing that the mother side, the nurturing side, the caring side. And this is a great, and I want to share this because it is so hard to parent as one.
Mhm.
And I remember clearly, me and my daughter was the best of friends until 12, 13, 14 years old. And I remember one interaction we had where she just, Dad, you just don't understand. And that's when it hit me. I was like, you're right. I don't. I've never been a 16-year-old girl. We can love our children, doesn't matter the gender. We can love our children all we want. But just like anything else, if you don't have that lived experience, man, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to relate. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really know, like, if that can be solved, because it's you can't be a woman if you've never been a woman, especially a young girl or a young boy. So I don't know if I answered that question, but I just really think it's
No, you did
trying.
though.
It's difficult. It's difficult.
I love it. Come on, Caesar. You got to hit me with my favorite phrase too.
Absolutely.
I got you. It's coming. All right, so, from my experience coming from my family and my environment, I guess, and like I said, it's my experience. So I'm gonna talk about my family and my mom and whoever. So I grew up with my dad and my mom at first, but then when whatever happened, it was just my mom, and it didn't really hit me like when I was young, because I don't think I was thinking about it at the time. Like in my mind, I felt, and I still feel this way. My mom is my dad and my mom. They just combined, not because she showed me like she wasn't like Smitty said. Most moms who are single moms. They want a substitute for whatever. Not even like be tough, make them tough, and do all that. But my mom was never. I don't think my mom was ever like that. I think my mom. I think she not felt bad, but understood that I am gonna. She saw that the things that I went through my dad, and I guess she just felt like I already had it all kind of figured out. But it didn't really hit me that hard when I was a kid. I guess it hit me later on when I was like a couple of years back, actually like 2 years ago, where I was like just remorsing and not remorse, like remembering my childhood and that I didn't have a dad throughout on most of that childhood, and I was like I started crying for no reason. I mean, it is for a reason, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it just my mom was always that model for me. Like she wasn't too tough, she wasn't too aggressive or too like, oh, you gotta do this because it's what men do. She was like, I got you, and I'm gonna get you through it, and she was always asking questions of how it was, and then back then I was like, I mean, I would say like teenage years, like high school, but or maybe freshman. I was almost pushing her away because I guess I felt like she can't know what I'm going through. She doesn't understand me because she's not me. In other words, she's not a man. But yeah, I think from my experience, I think the gender part about it is like I know a lot of my friends I have two of my friends that have females who female friends that have a dad, single dad, and for them it was way different than for me because their dads were like, how do I do their hair? How do I do this? How do I do that? And my not, I would call them close friends to mine, but they were enough close enough to be friends with my mom. And my mom will always come over and just do the hair for them or teach the dad how to do the hair so that he has that bonding with this daughter and you know. And but my mom, I don't think my mom ever told me like to be tough and stuff. She just told me just she didn't really tell me anything to be honest. But she told me you handle it and I did.
Right.
So I had to go through it by myself. And I think that's most kids, I think. Wow.
You think it's because like y'all do it by choice, or you just feel like because you like it's just what you have to do?
Well, I think at a point like I can't well high school freshman year I think it was by choice. I was pushing her away from my life and from because that was my years that I was going through stuff. But I mean as a kid and like through I guess to age 10, I just saw her as I didn't push her away. I just saw her as like, oh, okay, it's my mom. It's why I got that's it. But I it's not like in a bad way, but like in a grateful way.
Right, right.
Can I touch on that?
Sure.
C's outstanding. You know, I don't think it's pushing away. When we get to a certain age, doesn't matter what the gender is.
Yeah.
When we get to a certain age, gotta find ourselves. You start getting 13, 14, 15 years old,
Mm-hmm.
your circle of influence are a bunch of people that think sound and look like you, and they agree with your ideologies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They're not gonna argue back.
Right, we ain't gonna argue back. Because we like each other, and then we like to eat funnel cakes and drink soda straight out the 2-liter bottle. You know, you're not gonna yell at me for backwashing in there, you know. And so
but I know that my bad. I don't want to.
No, go ahead.
But what I noticed about that, and I realized this when I was maybe when I got through whatever I was going through in my teen years, it wasn't because they cared or they liked me. It was because they didn't care that they didn't talk back to me. They didn't care because they didn't. My mom called the cops on me, man, and it wasn't because she didn't care, or it was because she saw me as something out. It's because she did care, you know.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh yeah, I know. You know, my mom threatened me multiple times. You know, and I want to do say this about the gender part. You know, as struggle as it is, if you're single, right?
Yep.
If there's two, and I want to be very clear, if there's a mom and a dad in the home, I don't think gender becomes the issue because they're both there, and you know, it probably is not even a second thought for a dad to have a tea party with his daughter because it's just cool. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the whole family thing, right? Whereas for myself, when I was a single dad, I had to purposely think, okay, I need to have a tea party with my daughter. And we did. Got her a little kitchen, you know what I'm saying? And we sat and we had a little tea party. Now, I did that consciously because I knew mom wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if there was two parents there, it probably wouldn't be a conscious effort, more just this is part of what we do. This mom is in the kitchen, we're gonna have a tea party. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm making that clear, but I think when you're a single parent,
you
you
are,
force it.
and I'm gonna even challenge that one too, Smitty, because even when we have some 2-parent households, one parent can still be absent. So yes, we feel like that would be a norm in like for what you feel a norm would be, right? But that's not everybody's norm.
Okay.
And so while yes, like it may not be questionable to have that father sitting and doing that tea party, or that mom, chilling at the basketball court with her son, even though dad is home, or mom is here, there are still some very absent parents in a 2-parent household where they don't want to be bothered with the kid. So, it's still, that's why I'm like, I do agree. Yes, we should have 2-parent households, but I also am that person that sit on that back end and go, every household don't always have to be a 2-parent household, because every 2-parent household is not a safe household. So we're not gonna always preach 2-parent households, because sometimes they do need to get away from each other. They do need to have that separation. It doesn't mean that other parent still cannot parent.
No, that makes sense.
But together, they need to separate. They don't need to be in that same space. So I'm down for you, and I get it, because I know exactly where you're going, and it is what we would consider to be the ideal family, right? Like, it is what we feel we should see, or what we would wish to see in a 2-parent household. But we just know, like, the reality of it, that's not every 2-parent household.
Oh, you're right. You're right. And that's a good point. That's a great point.
And I even think about, like, even when we think about that question and how some of the roles look, I personally feel like it's always been this. So, like, okay, there have been fathers for years raising their kids as single fathers. It's not new. Just like there's been mothers for years raising their kids, like, it's not new. But I feel like it's what society highlights. Okay. They highlight all the negative things about deadbeat dads, and dads don't do this, and dads are never around, and dads suck. When that's not always been the case, because every father doesn't suck. And just like you gonna run into the same thing when it comes to a mother, like, every mother is not a good mother. And you don't hear them bashing these deadbeat mamas. But we can hear about all these single mamas that's strong in raising their kids. But I know several men who've been raising their kids for years, who have they got custody of their kids. Like, why? Like, we go into that.
Sis, so, if we're going to take it there, I don't even know how to put this without making it sound chauvinistic, but how if someone or a group of people decided to start pointing out deadbeat moms, like, that's a deadbeat mom, you're a deadbeat mom, right? You know what kind of push, you're gonna be the most evil person in the world. Like, why are you beating on this woman? I don't mean beating, I'm just saying, why are we talking bad about this woman, right? And I think that's just the antiquated caveman society that we live in, where you don't talk bad about women, no matter how bad they are. You know what I'm saying?
You're going to call out one, you got to call out the other.
Are built to withstand the bombardment of all of that, right? And it goes back to the traditional sense that I've said this before, and this is the purpose of my book. I'm going to be specific. Black men specifically, have never been seen as fathers, as caring, loving, nurturing fathers. So it's easy to beat us down. It's easy to scapegoat us. But you ain't going no mom. Don't care what her nationality is. As soon as you do, boy, that's a lot of backlash you're gonna get.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes, come on, Caesar.
So yeah, I gotta stop saying that. But I mean, y'all like. But from my experience, like I had two friends of mine. Their moms were pretty much. I don't want to say they were share their business, but two old friends of mine. They're not friends with me anymore. But what I used to see as a kid, when I was still living with my dad, it was their moms were drug addicts and going through it, abusing them, burning cigarettes on them, and the dad was just not there. So I think that I heard this guy say it once. I don't know where I heard it, but most men or anyone, to be honest, I think, but mostly men, I think, but get unconditional love from their mom is that if even they'll sometimes they don't even get that. So, but yeah, I mean, for me, what you remind me of, Miss, from the things you were saying about what was it about the father, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it reminded me of what I wrote down, and I'm even gonna say the whole thing, but so I basically said I realized that man can have a family and not care to be a man for that family. Man can have a family but still be a foolish boy, and that applies to women
Absolutely.
and men.
Yep.
So I think that as a man, me, like I realized that my dad Bobby was still a foolish boy when he was raising me and stuff, but I'm sure no, he didn't. But I was gonna say I'm sure he did his best, but he probably did. Who knows? He probably did because that's all he
Right.
knew.
Right.
But my mom and I understand what Smitty was saying about deadbeat moms, so you were saying about deadbeat moms, and it should be, and I understand that it should be like oh, you calling man mostly man deadbeats and well, but the women's and that's why I was trying to get to the point when I was talking about the two friends of mine, old friends of mine who had moms who were like basically deadbeats.
Mm-hmm.
And but I realized those friends of they're not they weren't the environment wasn't the best. But I hear from other friends of mine who they're still friends with them. They're doing great. They're going to college. They're doing more things than most of the people I hear than when they go through that situation.
Yep.
So I'm sure that it's hard, but there is hope and doing stuff like if you actually put in the work, I think.
Absolutely.
You know what's good for the goose should be good for the gander. It's not real good. Now, let me say this. And I know we got to move on because we are. But listen, since you were, I think you're a mandated reporter. I think we had that conversation.
Yeah.
I know I was. I know I was. Let me tell y'all something from experience. You can call CPS 20 times on a mom. They're going to go there, they're going to look, and they ain't going to take those kids. I'm being 1,000% honest from my lived experience. Okay? Now, let somebody call CPS on a single dad. Now, I'm not going to say that those kids are going to be taken, but there's going to be some action. There's going to be some consequences that take place because it's just tradition that dads aren't caring. And that's a fact. And it's easier to put the blame on the man.
Yeah.
It just goes back to if you're a CPS officer or a CPS worker or whoever, mandated reporter, you have to live with that oh, you're calling a woman a bad mom? How dare you, Smitty? You know what I'm saying? It's 1,000, man. I'm sorry. I mean,
Now, how dare you, Smitty? But you know what? To be honest, though, I think now, in the times that we're living in now, I don't think they would. Now, then, yeah, because I think right about now, people are understanding that it is not one sided.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Just to push back to challenge you. I love you to death, but I want to ask you this question.
Come on.
You see a man with 3 kids on the corner, and they're asking for change. They got their little cups or whatever. They got a little sign. My first conditioned bias thought is, bro, you a man, you better go work. Put them kids in school. If the same scenario, we just changed the dad to a mom, we're gonna be like, oh, that poor woman.
No, I don't.
Okay.
You can ask my mama. No, I don't.
Okay.
And we've even seen it where it's the mom and the dad on the kids. Yeah, no. Because it go both ways. Now, in all honesty, like I am that pusher of these mamas is just as bad as these daddies y'all trying to put out here and say that they're not doing. Like I'm always that hat on the other side because I've seen firsthand how some of those mothers have treated those kids. And I know that it's not always what people try to crack it up to be. Like I've seen it. So no, I'm not that person that's sitting there like, oh, because it's a woman, that no, right is right and wrong is wrong. And what other information we got on them?
To be honest, Phil, when I was homeless and with my mom, right, and my sisters, we were, how many were we at the time? We had 2 older sisters and my older brother, which was my Fredo, I think. And if he was born yet, I'm not sure. But we were in the corner literally and then living under a bridge. No one really cared. I don't think nobody really cared. I think maybe they looked at us and questioned, like what Smitty was saying, like maybe like if it was a man or something like that, maybe a woman, it would have been a question like, oh, I wonder why they're there or something like that. But I don't know. I think because my dad when he was arrested, right? I was going to school back there, and straight warnings from the school from the cops and shit. Oh, I'm sorry. But and they never did anything until he got arrested. So then they took me. Then they took it to my mom. And I was
only because he got arrested. So there was
only because he got arrested. I don't think, and the thing is, my dad was, and this is according to my mom and according to what I've seen, my dad was really good at hiding things from people. And I think most abusers are. But to be honest with you, I can't see both sides. I can see my side from it, but my dad, I didn't have this chance to run away almost until that he got arrested. So even though I was going through I had to walk to school basically, and it was like 5 miles away. As a kid, and as a kid, back in Mexico, right, and back in wherever we live in the United States, and I think it was Austin. El Paso, El Paso, Texas, and because it was just me, and it was just me walking to school. We doing everything by myself, basically me racing myself, because he didn't care about me. And then the fact I tell my friends nowadays that, you know, I'm sober now because when I used to use, it was because of him, because he would just, here, you want to try it? He didn't care. He would just give me stuff. He used to give me guns. He used to give me this. He used to give me that. But beside the point, I think as a man, as a man now, I think, because I was a kid basically, but as a man now, I see that like I said in the poem that I wrote, a man can't be always a man for a family. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. And that absolutely makes sense. Absolutely makes sense.
But I have friends of mine who are very childish. So like, like, and I say friends of mine like adults, like have kids and stuff, and they're very childish. But I see it every day. I see it with the kids I'm
Having kids
mentoring.
don't make you grow up.
Nope, like, exactly. And I think that's what I had an ex girlfriend of mine tell me once that she wants a kid because it makes her. She thinks that will give her unconditional love. Well, sometimes I think it does. Sometimes, but if who knows?
But it's still the wrong reason to have a kid, because in
Exactly.
order for
That's
your
why I was
kid
trying.
to give you unconditional love, you have to be able to show your kid
Yeah.
unconditional love. So I
Exactly.
mean, it I've heard people say that as well, and it never ends well.
Mm,
Because they don't know how to show that type of love, and because they can't show it, their kid doesn't know how to pick that up, because they're only going to show what they've been shown.
yeah.
So it becomes really, really hard when you're like, oh, I had my kid because I needed somebody to love me back.
Yeah.
But it's what people say, you know.
Yeah. I know.
So
And also, I think that what was I gonna say that. Never mind. Keep going. My bad. I'm taking too much time.
now he said he taking too much time. Y'all ready for y'all next question?
Yes. Yes. Please.
Okay, so I know we kind of tapped into this one a little bit ago too. And so I want y'all to kind of like reiterate some of these points and what your perspective is. Can you guys discuss the importance of positive male role models and mentorship in supporting fathers and promoting healthy family dynamics?
I had the absolute privilege of being invited to speak at an event this past Saturday. Um, Enough is Enough was the event. I believe it's a nationwide event regarding young Patterson that was killed right after they did the inaugural election for Obama. And I believe the young lady was part of a drum major corps or something and performed at the inauguration or something like that, and then got murdered like a week later. And so I believe it's every first Saturday of June. It's a Wear Orange in support of gun violence. Now, please don't. I don't know if I said all of that correctly, but from my understanding, that's what it's about. So anyway, I was invited to speak, which is an awesome event, and I met some wonderful, wonderful people. When we talk about father figures and role models, you know, I want to. I got one of their things. It's called. They run a nonprofit. Three brothers. 100 years. 100 years is their nonprofit. Between all three of them, they did 100 years in prison, and now
Wow.
they're giving back. Now they're giving back. Now they're mentors in the community. And two of them was from the city I was raised in, and both of them went in at the age of 17. And we're talking and we're talking, and you know, we have been removed from our families for far too long when we start talking about these father figures. And then one of the challenges is when we start to want to give back, we can't, because we have this felony hanging over our head that cannot be removed, or should not, will not be removed. And so I had said this before. When I was working at the school district, and I'm still going to push for this, Black men on a campus is like a unicorn. I got to the point where I was like, why do I need a badge? I'm the only one looking like me out here. You know what I'm saying? That's a shame. That's a shame. At recess, when young Black boys are playing and having fun, running around, play fighting, shadow boxing, playing basketball, roughhousing, knocking each other down. In cases, they're not fighting, but they are looked at by that they're fighting, and then they're sent away. Imagine if we allowed some of these bros to be on campus who have lived experiences that could tell the difference of a fight and horseplay. You know what I'm saying? And I say all of that because these young brothers, 100 years, they want to give back, but they have challenges over their head that's preventing them from getting into situations, or I should say, in environments where they need to be. When we start talking about role models, when we start talking about father figures, right? And so I told the good brother when we was talking, and I said, hey, bro, you know, I want to let you know first and foremost that I acknowledge your presence, that I love you. You are valuable, and I am no better than you. I am no better than you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't know how I made it out, and others didn't. And you know what this brother told me? He been locked up for 30-some years. This man looked in my face, shut me up, put his hand on my chest, and he said, nah, bro. He said, you know what? Congratulations. Let that sink in. This boy gonna tell me congratulations. He did 30 years. The only way when we start talking about the influence of fathers is to start allowing fathers to be present, right? Yep. If you, and I had said this before on one of the shows, sis, and this ain't me. Yep. A lot of the federal programs that provides family support, nutrition, funding, healthcare, whatever, you cannot have the father figure living in the house.
Yep.
So it is imperative, and I had said this at on the event on Saturday. We need us to be represented in the policy making when we start talking about these things, because that's the only way we're going to allow us or to put us in a position to be father figures, role models, uncles, coaches. You can't coach football or any sport if you have a felony on your background test. Yep. It's a fact. I know that. I had to get fingerprinted every year. Yep. Department of Justice. So when we start talking about the importance, if we don't like immediately disassociating these young brothers who didn't know any better from trying to change and help this next group, we're just going to continue this cycle where the father is absent. We're just going to keep going and going and going. We have to stop it because a father is so important to a young man. I don't care what color you are, how much money you got, it don't matter. You need a dad. You need a dad, to your point, sis, present physically and mentally. Young men need a dad, and I'm going to say this for the 789th time. The great Frederick Douglass said, it's easier to build strong boys than repair broken men. At some point in time, we're going to have to pay attention to the great Frederick Douglass. Otherwise, we're going to continue this vicious cycle. So yeah, father figures, definitely important. And we need to allow our brothers to be, okay, we made a mistake, but we good. Let's move on. Can't hold that against you.
So I will say yes to father figures.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because you already know where I'm finna go. Because we also got to remember that some dads aren't even here anymore. So while they may not be able to be present for their child, a father figure is still necessary. So whether it's the uncle that stepped up that says, hey, I got you, I can talk to the young man, whether it's the male cousin, whether it's the grandfather, a father figure in general is what I feel is needed, whether it's a young girl or a young boy. Just that they have that male figure in their lives. And sometimes, again, look, we know some family dynamics. Look, even the uncle, the brother, and the cousin ain't the right fit to be that role model. So sometimes it ends up being that community resource that's out there that's saying, hey, like them, what's the name of that org? 100 what?
100 years, 100
100
years.
years. So I mean, even when you think about that now, to that point, because one thing about it, society is never gonna let them in them schools. That's just the reality of it. And to be honest, I can't say that I'm mad at that either, because everybody's record is not deserving of them being in a school with children.
Understood. Understood.
So
Understood.
I understand, because again, when we think about that's supposed to be the safe space for where our kids are. And even though we know some of them teachers are doing worse than what them young men did to get them 100 years all together, you know, they ain't got caught yet.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's just the honesty of it.
I hear you. I hear
But
you.
now, how do we help those young men overcome those barriers? They can't walk into that school, but why can't those kids be brought to them?
Say that.
So
Say
it's
that.
not about thinking, oh, they can't walk into this space because this space does not accept them. Why don't people know about them? Why
Well,
aren't people showing up and bringing their kids to them? So how do we
and
help them?
and that's what we're gonna do to that point, because we have to navigate. We have to navigate around the existing barriers.
There
So
you go.
I know as well as you know, since they ain't gonna let them in. I know that.
Right. Like we know this.
I had to say that because hopefully it'll start knocking down this wall of hypocrisy that we live behind, right? But I know at the same time, in order for them to be in front of young people, it's going to take me to put them in front of young people, or put the young people in front of them. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's a fact.
Exactly.
That's what happened. So, right? Oh yeah, I got you. You're about to talk to some cats. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly.
That's just the bottom line. You know? Yeah,
Absolutely.
I knew that one, sis. I knew that one.
Yep. Because I'm like, we gonna talk till we blue in the face, but I
Let
know
me say
everybody.
this. I'm gonna tell you the hypocrisy of the land that we live in, and then I'm gonna shut up so Caesar can spill. This is the hilarious, off the chain, wet the bed,
I feel like I know where you finna go. And look,
This is
I know where you finna go. Go ahead.
This is the hilarium of the world we live in.
Uh-huh.
We will not let people who are felons get in front of children to help them grow better. But we about to have a felon, and we do have a felon running from
There you go. There you go.
Tell me about hypocrisy. Come on, let's see.
I knew where you were finna go with that one. I knew it. And I waited on you to do it, because like, I know he ain't gonna let that one slide.
I'm not. 34 counts. 34 counts.
Okay.
Come on, Caesar.
Well, today, I think it was 3 days ago, my nephew told me, he called me dad. And he told me that, I told him I'm not your dad, I'm your uncle. And he was like, okay, but you're still my dad. And I'm like, okay, all right. So then he said, oh, I have 3 dads now. Because he saw me as the dad, my sister's boyfriend's dad, and his real dad, which he still has some connection to. I was just I got emotional that day too, or over that, because I know what it feels like to not have that connection with someone. And that if I can bring that connection to him, and I give it that connection to him, and make him, let's just say I stop calling. I let him call me dad for now. But yeah, I got emotional because it's hard for a kid and to know that he doesn't have many people around him that can relate to him. He has ADD, and I tried, and I feel for him because he's taking medicine right now, and hopefully it helps it, and I think it does. But I can relate to it to a factor that most people can't, and it just it pride it, like it gives me so much pride and so much I'm grateful for what I've done for him, and I'm grateful for what I've accomplished. But I always saw it as the family has to get like work like family comes first always. So I'm grateful that I stuck with that rule because I know I could have been I was back there in the day I could have just walked out from the family.
Absolute, absolute. And
If
I think
not, I could have.
that's a true testament too, because when we talk about like that father figure, right? Like that somebody that kids can relate to, can talk to. You've been that. Like you see him every day.
Yep.
He sees you every day. So you are that person that he gets to see and look up to, and he gets to see your sister's boyfriend. So like we see the color, because what is he, 4?
4 or 5, 5.
5. So I mean, you get to see that correlation. And like again, you said, I feel bad for him for what he's going through because I've been there.
Yeah.
You understand the dynamic, you understand him. And so you have the patience that
Yeah.
most will not have because you understand what he's going through. And
Yeah.
hence why he can look at you and be like, I'm gonna call you dad, because I feel like we got that kind of connection in that bond. You have the patience that most people do not.
Yeah. I think the reason that I kind of pushed away the fact that for him to call me that is because I don't feel worthy enough to be not even worthy, but like good enough, I guess, to be considered that yet. And but I'm glad I'm glad I make that I say
It's the
like
impact.
impact, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing I wanted to say too, so the kid I'm mentoring to, a couple of days ago, he was going through something, and I was like, I sent him this message, and I ain't gonna say his name because I said the name of the message, but I won't say it this time. But I was like, hey, I know that you think you are failing right now by not doing the things that you know you can do, but you have to remember that failure is not part. I mean, not the opposite of success is part of it. Every time you fail and you get back up, it's one step closer to success. So when you get up this morning, you have to wake up and the way that you realize that it's you versus you. No one else is going to come to save you from you. You have to want it as bad as you want to breathe. I believe in you. I'm proud of you for how far you've gone, and you just have to keep going. Stay hard. That's it.
See, that's
And
that mentor. Now, see, remember back when Caesar, yeah, look, he already know I'm gonna go with this.
yeah,
Back
yeah, yeah.
when, and you was like, Miss, I'm not a mentor. No, Miss, I can't do that.
No, but I know I say I'm a mentor now because I realize now that the impact that I can have in people from my experience, from my experience exactly, from
Yeah,
my life, and I just want to help, man. I know there's a lot of guys, and my mostly
and
guys.
you
I'm a guy.
are.
I can't relate to girls or to women because I'm not that. I didn't go through the same struggles. But as guys, as men, I know that it's hard. It's hard to do certain things when you are seen as a, oh, you can deal with it. You got that. It don't matter what you got. I mean, it don't matter you going through this. You always got this. You're a man. Be a man. And I know that feeling so well. And that's the other thing. I know that feeling so well that my friend, I mean, the kid I'm mentoring, I know that he's going through that, and I know that it's very difficult to get over that cycle. And
Absolute.
yeah.
Absolute. I'm so proud of you, Caesar, because again, like this why I bring up the remember when we had that conversation, because
Yeah.
I know sometimes you don't see that in yourself. You don't
Yeah.
see the positive things that people are speaking to you. You don't see the good things that people have said to you. but you are all those things. And for your nephew to tell you the positive impact, like he's literally showing you the positive impact that you make.
Yeah.
And that's a lot. That means a lot. And so
Yeah.
stop doubting yourself and stop thinking that you are not worthy enough to carry the torch, because you are, and you've been doing it. Like,
Yeah.
you've been doing it. So you've been mentoring well before I ever told you was that mentor.
Look, it's real life. I just had to run downstairs and get my salmon out the oven before it burned. So I'm taking care of my mother-in-law, and I gotta make sure her food is right. So we doing this life. This is what real life looks like. Sees when you're a man, like you said, and you gotta do what you gotta do. I had to make sure I don't burn the salmon for my mother-in-law. So man, I'm tired. I had to run downstairs. It's hot. It's 100 degrees.
Look, he gotta catch his breath now.
Man, sees, listen to me, bro. And I had said this to my oldest son. Don't ever underestimate your role, right? Don't try to isolate your role. Just because you're not the father doesn't mean you're not the father. You know what I'm saying? If a young man looks up to you, you know, it might be a way. Like he's like, hey, man, you my dad, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And again, what it's doing is, this is the crazy part about a man, the evolution of a man. Get my book, check it out. I wrote a part of it.
Come on now, tell him.
The evolution of a man requires grace, right? And then you don't just, let me say this, C's. You ain't just gonna become a father. It don't work that way. That's what I told my oldest son. He was preparing himself when he was taking care of his little brother. He didn't know that. I didn't know that when I was taking care of my little cousin. I was 8 years old when he was born. To this day, he'll tell you, I'm that dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm the one he called when he got in trouble. Same with my other little cousins. I didn't have no kids, but I was in a position of learning how to become a parent. You know what I'm saying? So don't just think you're gonna become a dad when you have a kid. You're practicing right now. You know what I'm saying? And you get to learn these things as you go and you grow. You know what I'm saying? And here's the crazy part about, you never know who you affected. When my youngest son was like 8 years old on his baseball team, he's about to be 23. That tells you how long ago that was. There was a kid on his team. I used to cheer for all the kids. That's the type of, I'm cheering for everybody. I don't care, not just my kids. I'm cheering for everybody. So about a year, like during the pandemic, maybe right after the pandemic, I'm walking through Lowe's, and this grown man with a beard comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey, you Smith's dad?" I was like, "Yeah." You know, step back, like, "Okay, what's up? We got, is going down or what?" He was like, "Hey man, I just want to thank you for always cheering me on." He was like, "Man, I really looked up to the relationship you had with Little Smith. I really admire that. You always cheered for me. You always," this is what he said, "you always cheered for me." He said, "Man, my dad would only come to like 1 or 2 games. He would make me walk to baseball practice. Like, we didn't know none of this as other parents, nothing. You know what I'm saying? But he took the time enough to tell me how much that affected him. Me cheering him on kept him playing. That's what he said. You know what I'm saying? So you never really know who you affected, man, just by being you. You know what I'm saying? Just by giving that, extending that love and that grace. And that's anything I want to say to you, C's. Like you said, you felt bad for your nephew, right? I'm not going to tell you don't feel bad, but I see some of the things in my grandson, and I don't feel bad for him. I understand that's his assignment. It's not his ailment. It's his assignment. You know what I'm saying? So everything you went through, C's, everything I went through, it wasn't an ailment. It was our assignment. It built us up. It gave us some kind of character. It gave us some kind of definition, some understanding of what it means to be alive, to exist in this world, to maybe even put some understanding to the challenges. You know what I'm saying? So everything that my grandson is going through, as much as I want to feel bad, But understand he has to go through that. He
Yeah.
has to go through that. Now, here comes the good part. And that's where me and you step in, sees, and we see what they're going through. And we've already been there. We got that assignment. We understand, oh, okay, I see you, young brother. This is what you need right here, right now. You know what I'm saying? So don't feel bad for him, Washington. I don't want to say don't feel bad. I'm just saying, understand, like, he's got to go through that.
Yeah.
But he's got you to help him go through that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You
You know,
feel me? So,
that that reminds me. I know I'm not. I mean, I guess I'm a boy, but I'm gonna read this real quick. All right.
Hold on.
I'm gonna read
First,
this.
first of all, you cannot read it until you acknowledge it for what it is. Because you're not gonna tell me that I guess I am
say that.
for you.
All right, but I'm a poet, and I wrote this. All right, it's
Thank
on
you.
me. It's real.
Stand on that
I'm paying
business.
right here. All right, bet. All right, so the poem is called "My Beautiful Pain." My pain is sharp and constant, a reminder of what I've done. I tried to erase it from my life, but I realized that the pain is what made me who I am today. The pain is the consequences of my actions, the constant reminder to be better than I was. And for that reason, I will always love my beautiful pain.
Come on
And that
now.
you reminded me of that, Smith, because that's something. Sometimes it's not always good to have. I mean, it's not always good to go through pain, but if you go through it and you handle it, and you can help others learn from, like, just help others, like, get through it too. And I feel like that's what I'm doing. Like, feel like I'm helping my nephew and whoever I'm helping, all the people that I'm helping, I guess, just get through it.
Father figure. Father figure.
Say it again, Smith.
Father figure.
Okay.
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 Look, I don't even gotta say nothing. I don't even gotta reiterate that because I know you got it. You got it.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. And I gotta give a shout out to Fosia because she is commenting on Facebook and she's like, this talk is everything. She's saying thank you for this. So I'm like so glad that she tapped in to join us. Because again, that's my boo. She be watching. But yeah, I listen, y'all. I'm excited about this month's topic. I ain't even gonna lie, because again, I'm just like, we gonna show these men some love this month.
Oh, the other thing, Miss. The other thing, I went to a restaurant the other day, right?
Where'd you go?
And I don't want to say. But I saw this guy. He was, I think, working there, and I was like, man, I'm always nervous around people. I'm always nervous around, like, public, I guess. But I was telling, it was from me and my sister, and I was like, man, I'm nervous. And he said in Spanish, and she was like, oh, you speak Spanish? Okay, my bad. I see, blah blah blah. And then I spoke English, and I was like, nah, it's because I'm not nervous because of. I mean, it's just because he's so beautiful, man. I mean, you're great, you're good. And I'm like, my sister just started laughing, bro. And I think it's nice to compliment people,
Absolutely.
It's nice to be kind. It's good to be kind, and you'll never know what that little thing can help.
Listen, words go a long way. And it doesn't take much to speak something kind to somebody else. I say it time and time again, like, our words are a choice, right? Yeah. And so we get to choose what it is that comes out of it. And so it costs us nothing to tell somebody that they're amazing.
Exactly. It was crazy. I would have never done that a couple of years back.
Yeah.
But look at you now. Look at you now.
The evolution of a man requires grace, baby. Just remember that, man. Just remember that.
You know what I'm saying? My Caesar is all grown up.
Okay.
That's a grown man right there. He on his grown man status. But listen, y'all, I'm so appreciative of you guys tapping in with me per usual. Just being here in this space, in this moment. And this is everything for this topic in this month and especially in this time. So we finna wrap this thing up. So
I know we got to wrap it up. I know we got to wrap it up. But I got to say this because we acknowledging our brothers. We still, again, your platform, sis, is phenomenal. You know, we have visual, confirmation of what you've done and what you've allowed to harvest in young Caesar. And I'm sure he's not the only one. But at the same time, we still have so many young brothers who don't have that ability yet to recognize their own greatness, to live a fulfilling life of happiness and of growth and of loving, and to share that with someone. And I just want to take this time. If you can hear my voice, just know that I love you. And I'll hope it carries and it travels as much as I feel it in my heart. Caesar's just said something like he never thought that. Like he would say that to a man. I was there too. Like, you just don't talk like that. We ain't raised to talk like that. And how much have we hurt ourselves by not allowing ourselves to talk that way? How much have we beaten down the next man who's going through something that we couldn't physically see on the outside because we didn't take the time to say, bruh, is you okay? You good?
Come on,
you know,
Smith.
you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I see you, man, and it's okay to cry and talk to me. And that's like, you ain't got to cry, but you can talk to me, man, and get it off your heart, and I'm not going to judge you. I'm not sitting here to judge you. I'm not going to sit here and preach to you. Sit here and listen to you, bro. We can go walk. We can go whatever. You know what I'm saying? And we don't say that enough. And then we wonder why we sit back in our glass house and we point fingers to all these young brothers that's locked up because no one gave them a chance. No one listened to them. No one listened to them. And that's all they want. They want someone to listen to them. I spoke to 3 different young men in the past 2 months who don't know each other, and they all told me the reason they're in the situation they are right now is because in the 6th grade, they didn't feel welcome in school. That's a problem. That's a problem. We got to start acknowledging our young men where they stand, where they are. I don't care what they look like. I don't care what they sound like. I don't care how they talking. I don't care if they cussing. I don't care if their pants are sagging. I may not condone it, but I understand it. And then we have to acknowledge them and say, man, it's okay to be you. It's 15. I'm 16. You know what I'm saying? Stop trying to say you have to be better than that. You have to do this. You have to do that. You have to do that. Here, man, all you have to do is love yourself and then find somebody that's willing to listen to you. And if you're a grown bruh, go find a young bruh, man, and check game with him and tell him you love him, man, and put your arm around him and hold him close. You know what I'm saying? Man, I'm sorry, sis, but I had to say that because that is so important right now, man.
It is. It is.
And I love you for making this happen.
It goes right back to what you said. They just want somebody to hear them.
Sit.
Like, hear me and acknowledge what I'm going through. That's it. That's all. And so many of them would choose a different path if only somebody would have acknowledged their pain.
Yeah. To all the friends that I have, not, and I can't say that I've always done this, but for the last couple of years, I think, every friend I ever had, I always ask them, every phone call, text, anything, I always ask them every now and then, or every time we talk, I say, how are you? How you been? And they always tell me the same thing. I've been all right. I've been straight. And then I say it again. How you been for real? And they get annoyed at me. But I'm just trying because I know it's hard, man. And I know it's difficult because especially people don't get to talk to people nowadays. I think it's getting a little bit better, but people don't get to talk to people. And if you actually talk to somebody, like I had to talk with one of my friends. He was just going through it, and I was like, man, I understand your pain, but you gotta be strong. I'm here for you if you ever need me. I always end the conversation. I'm here for you if you ever need me. But yeah, man, people just need to talk to people, and you will realize how similar you are to that person, how similar your issues are. Now, they're not might be all similar, but in some way they are connected. That's
Y'all better come on. See, look, I'm gonna have to text Samantha because we ain't have her right. Look, I ain't even put the
I was
collection
gonna
plate
say,
up.
where's she at?
I'm gonna text Samantha. Look, we ain't even put the collection plate up. Look, look, that's how bad we was missing Talk Tuesday. We done forgot all about the collection plate, y'all. That's okay.
Good. I was looking for it.
That's hilarious. I'm loving it. But you guys, as I get ready to close us out, I just want to say that us at Steps Foundation, we want to extend our gratitude to all the men out there who contribute their strength, wisdom, and compassion to the world, because we know that you are all over. You guys are everywhere. You are not just in our backyard. You are not just our neighbor. You are not just our family member, but you are everywhere. Let us all continue to uplift and support one another, celebrating the diverse experiences and contributions to our men all over the world. I am grateful for the men that sit on this platform with me, the men that continue to give the gift of love, because you guys, every time you show up, you're giving the gift of love to those who are listening. And I appreciate you guys more than you ever will know. I give y'all flowers while y'all are here, because you show up and you show out every Tuesday with me. And I just want y'all to know how grateful I am. So that being said, y'all, until next week, because we coming back next week. We thank you guys for tuning in to another round of Talk Tuesday, and we will see y'all next Tuesday at 6 p.m.
Love y'all.
Good night, y'all.